My computer is so loud. My apologies. My computer is so loud. My apologies. My computer is so loud. And I have an echo. Alright, so I got the echo to go away. My fridge is on and it's loud, but that's okay. No more complaining. We're gonna get to some. Let me zoom in a little bit here so we have a better frame. I tried to schedule this for 107, but I feel like it already started. So, oh well. So tonight I've been drawing some eyes, so I'm gonna continue with that theme. Alright, so we'll do some really quick eyes first. So really simple cartoon eyes. What's most important is the placement of the pupils. They're really simple. You can make almost any cartoon look good if it just has some nice eye placement. Alright, so one thing that I always do, another thing if I'm going to draw eyes, and this will instantly make your eyes look better. So you just want to put like a light wash of gray over the whole thing, over the whole eye. Oops, let me use the different brush here. Just take like a gray wash and just go over the whole eye. And then you can take white, probably about 30% opacity. I'm using graffiti brush. My brushes you can download in the description. They're all free. They're just tweaked stock brushes. So anyway, I take graffiti brush on 30%, and you can do a lot with this. We'll get back into this later, this little glare here. And I just raise the opacity, and you can do a light mark there, and instantly, it makes the eye. It just keeps the eye from looking flat. Alright, so now I'm going to try some more intense eyes. My computer should quiet up a little bit once. The problem is I have an eye tutorial on iMovie, and it's just like it's going through the process of like the clips that I added were so big in iMovie that it's going through the process of bringing all that over to my hard drive, and it's just the fan is just so really loud. Alright, so my tricks for making an eyeball or make an eye look really cool is you can really use any brush. We'll just use, doesn't really matter what color. We'll make them, like a brownish color for now. Doesn't really matter what kind of brush, what kind of brush you need, as long as you can make a circle. So if you can make a circle, you're good. Doesn't have to be perfect. I personally use a solid circle, just because I can go like that, and it's quick and easy. Make it even bigger. So however you make your circle, once you have that, let me just put it on a new layer so I don't have these other things floating around. Alright, so we have our circle, so just duplicate that layer. And then choose black, and then drag it on top. So now we have 2 layers, the brown one, the brown circle right behind the black one. I'm going to shrink this, since this is going to be the pupil, and I'll put that right in between. You have these nifty, I use snapping, and I use the snapping here is pretty useful. It's just nice with, like, you know, bringing things, you know, so I can get it directly in the middle. Usually I would just eyeball it, but it's easy with the snapping tools. And I'll take it to mine. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Thanks for stopping by. So we have the pupil there, and we have this brown. So this will be the, you know, this is the eye color, and this is the pupil. So the next thing you want to do is you want to alpha lock the brown. So we alpha locked the brown layer. And we go back to that brown color and just take like a dark version of that color. And I use a brush that I named Eyeshadow Iris. I don't even know the anatomy of an eye. I probably named it wrong, but if you want to download my brushes and use this one, you can use really any brush, but you want to change the opacity so that it's low. Like the opacity for this is like 26% or so. And basically that's what it's going to look like. So you just want to use a brush and just change the opacity down. And all you want to do is just make a shadow across your eye like that. Pretty simple. You can use any brush. I don't know why I like using this brush, but I do. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we'll bring another layer above that one, and we'll put it on add, and we'll just go to like a light beige. Go to light beige, or we'll just go to white. That's fine. Then I'll just take a soft airbrush. And I'll just go around the edges of the black. Almost like there's light coming out from behind the pupil. Alright, so, and let's play around with this. So there's a lot of other things you can do to kind of make the eye more realistic. I haven't really played around with drawing eyeballs like this in a while, but let's see if I can remember how I used to mess around with it. So I just chose my light pen. Let's see how that looks. It's a little bright. Yeah, light pen is a little bright. Let's see what other brush we want to use. Let's try this. So I'll use light pen here, and let me try to change the layer. See what I get. That's kind of nice. Lighten is kind of nice. See if I want to change the color. See if I can change the color of that. Here we go. So one way is you can take the light pen and you can sort of make the you can sort of draw the lines out of the eye like this. And the reason why I use light pen is just because it has different values in the colors and things like that. So it just kind of gives it a nice what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the circle, and I'm going to go back to the layer that I made above and just kind of mess around with the light pen and just our eyes have so many striations and things like that that it's the more random the better. And I've looked at enough eyes that I know that they kind of go out and some branch off. So I'm not going to be too crazy and go like that, but if I do want to make shapes, everything is sort of pushed out. But I like just a regular kind of, it almost looks like fire. Okay. We'll just add a little bit of volume here. This needs a few more squiggles. All right. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see if we want to change the color of anything. Which I think is a really fun part, is sort of seeing if there's any other colors that you like or that you want to change. All right, we'll keep it this fire color for now. All right, so I probably should have, actually no, this is okay. We'll keep it like this. So another thing that I always do is I'm going to go back to, I'm going to make a layer above that, just because I want to darken this, I want to darken the edges. I always darken the edges of the eyeballs. So we'll go with Sketchmaster 2, which is just to show you what the brush looks like. It's kind of like a light airbrush. And I'm just going to go around the edges. And I kind of like this brush because it's just not, it's not like uniform. Like I don't want like just a hard line around. I kind of want it to be loose and have different values and things like that. Okay. All right, cool. Another thing that I'm gonna duplicate this. I forgot to do this part of it. So I duplicated that. I'm going to go to kind of an off-white color here. And I alpha locked this second circle, and now I'm just going to fill it. So I just do fill layer. And then what I'm going to do is make it bigger. And I'll put that right in the center. So what I'm going to do with this, since it's alpha locked already, I'm going to go to like this dark beige color. Then I'm going to go to my airbrush. And I'm going to just slowly, let me lower the opacity of the airbrush because I don't want it to be harsh. And I'm just going to slowly kind of, treat this as though it's like a sphere. And I'm putting the shadow down here, which means the light would be up here. Make it a little darker down here. Okay. It's looking quite nice. And then I'm going to go back to my regular beige color. And I'll make the airbrush really small. I'll just add a little bounce. Just add a little bounce to it. Okay, actually, I don't like the way I did that. Let's see, what's a better way to do it? I haven't done my eyes in a while. There we go, that looks a little bit better. So I'll put the bounce here. And I'll make it a little, I'll put bright white just on the top bit. Just a little bit here. Okay. All right, cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this layer and I'm going to add another layer of that dark brown right over top. Actually, let's do it with an airbrush this time. So right now I'm on the brown part of the eye. I'm just going to add a little bit of dark. A little bit of darkness to that part of the pupil. Okay. And also, I'm going to take this off alpha lock. And I'm actually going to blur out. I'm just going to take the smudge tool and I'm just going to slowly go around the edge because I don't want that edge to be perfect. It just doesn't look as real if the edge is like a crisp. Our eyes don't have a crisp edge like that. what do we want to do next? Okay, so we have the basic elements. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take white, I'm going to take graffiti brush, put it down to like 30%, and we'll do some fun stuff here. Actually, there's another thing I should do first. And what I should do first is I'm going to take that add layer, the layer that we did the brightness underneath the pupil. I'm going to take let me try this out. Let me try Sketchmaster 2 and see what it looks like. Just add some light pops. I'm going to select this layer and then I'm going to go back. That way I don't have to worry about going outside of the eye. Oops. It's a little too bright. Alright, so the reason why I'm making it so bright down here is because the light is coming from here. Actually, instead of doing so much, I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to be so dramatic about it. So I'm going to select it. It was a little dramatic. So I'm just going to do one small section that gets lighter, like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to go back up to the top layer. Graffiti brush, 30%. And then we're just going to make like an arbitrary shape. I like it to look smooth though. And yes, of course, that's what I call the jelly bean. Okay, and you can actually do, I'm going to try some other ones. So I'm going to do one here, like this. Actually, let me do it blue. Try that out. I'm going to try out a light blue up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one, the top one, is I'm going to take my eraser and I'm just going to fade out the bottom of it with the eraser. Alright, that looks good. And this one, I'm going to sort of fade out a little bit of it too. Okay, so now I'm going to take my eraser and we'll take Sketchmaster. And we're going to make I'm just going to make some lines through here. And these are sort of arbitrary, but I'm sort of going to make it look like plants, like like it's the ground or something like that. So sort of just make these lines through, and they'll look like reflections of, you know, the ground or something like that. So we'll make these arbitrary shapes like so. And up here we're going to do, let's see, what's a good brush to use up here? I guess we'll stick with the same one, but I want to kind of make it look like trees. I want to make it look like it's like the reflection of trees. So I'm just doing a very like scattered, like erase markings. Kind of like there's trees being reflected. Okay, but I want to also make sure that there's a bright area here. Almost like if the sun was like under the clouds or something like that, but in the reflection. Or if it was just like reflecting clouds or something like that. Make some other markings there. Okay. I always see what it looks like if I double it. All right, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to erase a little bit more of the sky because it's a little intense. Okay, so now I'm going to make a very hard arbitrary Alright, now I'll take a solid eraser and just kind of make these marks really sharp. I might change them, so we'll see. So now I'm just going to smudge this out a little bit. And this can really be any sort of marking. I'll use Sketchmaster to make some dividing lines. So make some other marks in it, just so it looks like things are reflecting in the eye. And then we'll take the back and we'll just sort of do the same thing, just sort of add some value to it by erasing a little bit of the, just erasing bits of it, but with an airbrush, so it sort of like makes a gradient. And then we can pretend maybe there's some other lights in the room, or wherever this eyeball is, like we can, I'll do it on this layer. We can do something here, just really light. And these colors are almost imperceptible, but they kind of just give it like a, you know, these small like little changes in the color I think are really nice. Just to keep everything from being flat. And I'll use the light pen. Maybe there's some I'm doing it on a new layer just in case I don't like them. Like maybe there's some lights in the distance or something like that. That would be reflecting off of the, you know, there can be all sorts of you know, points of light that are reflecting off of the eye. I'll do some white, some bright white bits over here. Maybe a bright white over here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good so far. Now another fun thing that you can do is you can go back to this brown layer. You can actually see if I can bring this in some more. Bring my screen in some more. Trying to get used to I'm using my Pixel phone instead of the iPhone that I usually use, so I just want to make sure that that's not bad. Okay, good. So yeah, like I was saying, it's really fun to kind of play around with the colors and see what you can come up with. You can even change the color of the and this is just a really fun part. Remember, there's endless ways that you can sort of play around with the colors. Let's change the eyeball to we go to a nice aqua sort of blue. Let's see what color that works well with that. That looks kind of interesting. Another thing you can do is you can change the mode as well. You can get some pretty interesting, wow, that's crazy. kind of like that. I think we'll keep that there for now. If I want to add some more light, I just go to that add layer. Add a little more light there. Also, this might be nice too. Let's say we want to do a two-tone color. Like, let's say we want to do a nice green. So I'll take my airbrush. Oops. So I'll take my airbrush and I'll just kind of color. Ooh. You can get really crazy and add like a, see what would look nice here, like a nice sort of reddish color. Let me alpha lock this. Let's see what happens if we add this color around the, that's interesting, but it doesn't really work, so that's okay. We'll keep that in the back pocket. Now what about this outline? Let's see if we want to do something with that outline. Change the color of it. Maybe make it a bluish color. Make it darker, make it lighter. Darker would probably work better. Oops. Yeah, I kind of like this. I think that's looking really nice, actually. So we'll make a screenshot of this one. We'll save this one for now. Okay, so I'm going to merge all these, copy it. I'm going to undo that merge, and then I'll paste that eyeball, and then I'll put it away for later. So now we can still, let me just highlight, let me just make these a group. Okay, so make that a group. So now that we have that eyeball saved, another thing that you can do is, I'm going to clear that, and then you just have all this beautiful, you just have the colors that you made, which is also really nice. And one of the things that I really like to do, what is this layer? I don't know what this layer is. We'll do something on it. Let's play around with that layer. So let's try stable. I don't really know what this is going to look like, but we'll try stable on an add layer, and we'll just push the brush out. That's interesting. Weird. So we're going to go ahead and clear that because that's just weird. I'm going to make this normal. I'm going to make it a normal layer. Okay, so another thing that I really like to do is, so we'll take like a nice orange color, and you can use patterns. So let's take, where's those vintage patterns. So we have all these patterns that we can use. I don't know if I've ever used Buzz. I don't know what Buzz is. Oh, Buzz is like a, interesting. think Buzz really brings much to the table. So let's try Campagna. We'll make it really big. Oh, I should have, let me select that so I don't go outside of the eyeball. And I'm going to cover it completely with Campagna. So now we have like this really interesting color pattern. And I'm going to alpha lock that, and I'll take something that's not this color. Let's try a purple, and then let's try an airbrush, because sometimes it looks really nice to like blend these colors together. I don't really care for the purple too much. We'll go around the edge with the purple. And then let's say this color's kind of far out. Let me see what layer I'm on. Let's see if we can change all of these and make them more interesting. I really like that pattern though. That's crazy when it gets darker. That looks really cool. Alright, so let's try something else completely. Let's clear this, and let's make the eye. Let's see, what color should we make this eye? Blue. So I'm going to fill that layer and make the eye blue. It looks pretty. And let's put some orange in there. Put some orange around the pupil. Interesting. I really want to do some other patterns. So let's do some other patterns. We'll try this, I think I need a darker color. We'll try a darker blue, or maybe sort of bleeding into purplish. All right, let's see what patterns that we can play around with. Honey Eater. Ooh, I like Honey Eater. That's really interesting. Let's try some different colors. Interesting. Ooh, that's kind of creepy. That black and red is like creepy. Let's try Galaxias. Oh, this is really cool. I've played around with this color before. I like Galaxias. Alright, so let's add some Let's add some color to this bad boy. So we'll add some orange there. We'll add a little green, because why not? And we'll add some red. We'll add some reddish. That looks really interesting. Now let's play around with our layers. That's cool. Kind of like it there. That looks good. So let's switch it up and let's switch up the we'll switch up the markings. All right, so first of all, we'll go back to our white. And do that. And then we'll go to a layer above. And let's see, what do we want to do here? What do I want to do? Do we want to try a different color? Let's try a different color. Why not? Let's see. Really just playing around. I don't know how this is going to really look. If it's going to look decent at all. And let's make some. Where's my trusty light pen? Oops. I'll make some really crazy lights just to see like what works and what doesn't work. Mess around with the erase. And let's see, what do I want to do for the... This one will make... Oh, I have it on a different layer. Make it almost like it's grass or plants or something like that. We'll do sort of, so I don't know, some sort of texture like it's ground here. I don't know what that would be, but make some sort of texture. Okay, this is weird, so I'm getting rid of it. And what I'm going to replace it with is That looks too similar to the other one. Let's do something different. Let's do something like something like that. We'll get rid of some of it. Now let's see if we smudge some. Let's see how that will look. And we'll make another, make some other lines through it. And I feel like it needs some, I feel like it needs a little something up here, so do that, and then I'll make some more just to kind of break it up. It's interesting. Don't really like it, but it's interesting. Anyway, so I think that's pretty fun. Play around with the colors a little more. But I think I'm gonna conclude do that. You can play with the, it's also really fun to play with the modes. Sometimes you can get some really pretty effects. Oh, I love that. That's cool. This needs a little more fading on the top, I think. Fade out a little bit more of that on top. Alright, so I hope you guys got something out of that. Just playing around with eyeballs, but I think I'm going to pack it in. I don't want to stay up until 5:30 a.m. again tonight, so for those of you guys watching, I appreciate it. For those of you that gave me likes, I appreciate it. And I'm going to be uploading another more succinct tutorial about like cartoon eyes and stuff. I'll probably get that out tonight or tomorrow. So I'm going to start editing that, but alright. You guys have a great night.